The Miss Supranational 2023 experience has concluded, and I definitely have some thoughts on the final show. I am so sorry, you guys. First of all, I have to apologize because I didn't post my prediction, but I have a really good reason. So my computer decided it was done. It was, not going to function for me to be able to post my prediction, and so I didn't. And so I actually went into the finals sort of pressure free. I knew the odds of either of my countries winning this year were very low, so I went in with the expectation of perhaps placing, but certainly not like I have for the past 2 years, with Shanique having won in 2021 for my home country Namibia, and then my birth country South Africa having won in 2022. I definitely had no such expectations this year, and it ended up being the case that I was correct. I would have liked for my girls to have placed higher, or in Namibia's case, to have placed at all, but that didn't end up happening, unfortunately. Now, as for this stage, the setting, of course, we have to start with that, the production itself. Of course, with Miss Supranational being an international pageant, the camera work, the lighting, the quality, the sound, the music, all of that, the entertainment was pretty good. It was great, actually. You know what I love about the Miss Supranational stage? It's always so well lit. The Miss Supranational stage is a photographer's dream because it is so well lit. I absolutely love that, so I just had to compliment that as well. As for our hosts, we had a very dashing male host, but also a familiar face if you're South Africa, the beautiful Joanne Strauss, who was Miss South Africa in the early 2000s. She was also a host for Miss Supranational 2023, and I absolutely loved her on stage. She is so charismatic, and I'm so surprised that the Miss South Africa organization haven't really approached her to host within the past few years. Moving on from the hosts, we have to talk about the judges, which of course included the former Miss Supranational Lalela Mswane from South Africa, also our Mr. Supranational 2022, then also Shrindi Shetty from India, who was Miss Supranational 2016, was a judge as well. And then the last judge, of course, my father, Gerard van Lipinski, who is the president of the Miss Supranational organization. Absolutely love him, Miss and Mr. Supranational organization. Now for the opening number, I absolutely love that they put all of the continents in different and unique outfits. The opening number outfits were pretty unique, and I did love that. They also announced 2 special awards, being of course Miss Photogenic, which was El Salvador, as well as Miss Congeniality, which turned out to be my birth country, South Africa. Now, I must make a side note about South Africa. There have been some rumors and also a video released of a contestant saying that after not placing in the top 12, South Africa was pretty shook. Ayanda was refusing to believe that she didn't place, and trust me, a lot of us at home were refusing to believe that as well, so I can't blame her. But first off, the top 24 was announced. This consisted of Curacao, who was the contestant's choice winner, Philippines, of course, who was the Supra Chat winner, Zimbabwe, who was the winner of the Supra Model competition, Brazil, who was the Miss Influencer winner, Colombia, Malaysia, Spain, Botswana in her debut year. I was so proud of her. Poland, of course, it is the home country after all. Puerto Rico, Netherlands, who I absolutely love during Super Chat as well. Mexico, who was one of my big faves. Indonesia, Ecuador, Gibraltar, South Africa, of course, my birth country. Venezuela, who my partner just obsessed over. Vietnam, the UK, who we all loved. Dominican Republic, Thailand, Peru, who I loved as well. El Salvador, and finally, my favorite, India. I loved India. Now, unfortunately, Namibia failed to place for the first time in 3 years, or actually it should rather be 4 years, because Namibia placed as the first runner-up in 2019. We won in 2021. Of course, there was no pageant held for Miss Supranational in 2020. And then last year we got into, I think it was it the top 24? Last year we placed as well, but this year, unfortunately, with Romalie Hoffman, we did not place, which was so sad. But luckily I still had my birth country to root for, as well as so many other girls who I also loved. Now for the swimsuit segment, the top 24 came out in these cute yellow swimsuits with these pink capes. I absolutely love the swimsuit section because the swimsuits used made the girls look so youthful and bubbly, and it's all very fun color scheming, so I absolutely love that. I must say our winning girl Ecuador was the most on fire when it came to swimsuit. She really blew me away with her stage performance. Unfortunately, one of my favorites, Netherlands, her face was all over the place. It was really a lot looking at her facial expressions. My birth country, South Africa, her sash was unfortunately falling down. Peru came across as very youthful and fun, also gave a great performance. And then lastly, the person who I want to talk about was Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe just has the model walk, okay? She did not win the Supra model competition by mistake. Let me just tell you that. After this, of course, the top 12 had to be announced, and unfortunately it was the end of the line for my birth country, South Africa, which was so upsetting. But I still had tons and tons of other girls to root for. Like I said before, during swimsuit, I really enjoyed Ecuador and Peru and so many other girls, Mexico, you name it. There were so many girls that I still loved at this point of the competition. And I think that's the beauty of being a fan of pageantry in general, and not necessarily having one or two countries that you are staking your entire joy and happiness in, and when they don't place, you just turn off the TV and go to bed. Basically, that's not what I enjoy doing in pageantry. I really look into all of the contestants and give them all an equal chance, and I think that's the best way to enjoy pageantry, is just look at all of the contestants as individuals instead of representing you and your entire nationality. You know what I mean? So the top 12 consisted of Vietnam, Brazil, Netherlands, Peru, who I loved, Ecuador as well, UK, of course, one of our faves, the Philippines, oh my goodness, the Dominican Republic, India, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Gibraltar. Now, after listing off all of the countries, I think you can understand why I say that, you know, I still had a lot of skin in the game. There were still so many girls who I absolutely adored. But unfortunately, I did notice that in the top 12, there were no African countries, which is surprising because there were such good African contestants this year. I mean, I thought Zimbabwe was a shoo-in for top 5, to be honest with you guys. So let me know what you think about that. Botswana also gave a great, you know, start for her country at Miss Supranational. I think a lot of people expected to see Ayanda, South Africa, in the top 12, but for me it was more a shock that Zimbabwe didn't make it, because that girl was just amazing. Now, right after this, my dad presented Shrindi Shetty with the Supra Icon Award. Of course, Shrindi was Miss Supranational in 2016. Since then, she has made a huge success of herself, and so they presented her this award. Her little speech that she made, especially mentioning that Gerard was sort of a father figure, it's really touching, because I've met Gerard recently at Miss Supranational Namibia, and the guy is really so friendly, so open, so nice. He jokes around. He's just the sweetest, nicest type of man, and he's so tall. And honestly, I have a huge amount of respect for him. And so for me to watch Shrindi receive this award and, you know, talk about him with such high regard and talk about the Miss Supranational organization, I think it just really goes to show that they're sort of like a family. You know, in the beginning her speech was a bit rough where she couldn't really get her words out, but at the end of the day when she started talking, you know, you can tell that this woman, she used to be a beauty queen, okay? Because the moment the ball started rolling, her speech came together just like that. Now, let's talk about the evening gown section, or segment I should rather say, because this just was the most confusing evening gown. Hello. Thank you for the kissy. Go away now. Yes, I'm busy. You have to leave. Okay. Shh. Lie down. So this was the most confusing evening gown segment maybe ever, because there were just girls all over the stage and I really couldn't see who's where. The camera guy also got pretty confused probably. Only 2 girls out of the top 12 who I can really say got their moment alone with the camera guy on stage were Puerto Rico and Gibraltar. Puerto Rico wore this beautiful Barbie dress and Gibraltar had a dress with an interesting neckline, but it was a pretty bland nude dress. Besides that, India stunned in this dark purple gown and Mexico was wearing this very lovely white but non-bridal gown. White is just such a slippery slope in the pageant industry, but they look stunning. The top 5 ended up being Vietnam, which was surprising because she really wasn't even on my radar. Ecuador, UK, Philippines, and Brazil. There was no Peru, India, or Mexico in the top 5. I was so surprised about India. I think if I were to say something controversial, I would say that maybe I would have put India instead of Vietnam in the top 5, because like I said, Vietnam wasn't really even on my radar. And so, but besides for her, I could really see the other 4 in the top 5. I would have put India in there for sure. Now for the top 5 Q&A, all of the girls got the same question, which is what makes a great brand ambassador for Miss Supranational. The UK talked about relatability. The Philippines came out and said dedication, which I think was the best answer. You know, she obviously said more than dedication, but I can't put it here because Miss Supranational is not playing with copyright claiming, okay? So the Philippines to me had the best answer. I will just say that outright. Brazil talked about how her personality will make her the best candidate to be an ambassador for Miss Supranational. Ecuador started off her question saying, oh my goodness, like, oh my, I can't say it, okay, guys, I was raised extremely religiously, so my body physically won't let me say, oh my, I can't say it, okay. But she started off with, oh my god, that phrase, which I don't have an issue with, it's just for my personal thing that I can't say it out loud. And then she continued on this downward spiral with her answer, and she left me thinking she didn't understand the question at all, and she didn't answer the question at all. You know, this is Ecuador now, the girl who actually won the competition. So this was very confusing to me, because ostensibly the winner, I would think, was supposed to be chosen from the top 5 pool after they answered the question, which Philippines had the best answer. Let's just get that straight. Vietnam, of course, also unfortunately did not deliver. So after top 5, I was left thinking that the Philippines had the best answer. I was also expecting a top 3 Q&A type of thing, but that didn't happen. And so after top 5, when it was made clear that we would now be announcing the winner, I was definitely expecting Philippines to have the highest score during top 5 Q&A. But it wasn't time to announce the winner just yet, because they brought out none other than Chantal singing her hit Impossible. And guys, can I just say, 15-year-old me was lying in bed at night with my earphones on full blast, mourning my 3-week-old relationship when it ended in high school. This was the song, and I actually went and downloaded it right after this performance. I love that they got Chantal. They also had to crown the continental queens first, which were the women who got the highest scores for their continent, who did not end up in the top 5. Now, Miss Supranational Africa ended up being Zimbabwe. For Asia, it was India. For the Americas, it was Peru. For Europe, it was Gibraltar. And for the Caribbean, it was Curacao. In my opinion, I still think India should have been in the top 5. And of course, Lalela also had her final walk. I thought she absolutely stunned in this dark, sort of purple, but just borderline black gown. Because the Miss Supranational stage is so well lit, darker gowns really work on the Miss Supranational stage because it's so well lit. What a journey Lalela has had. I couldn't help but feel a little bit choked up when I saw her doing her final walk because she has had such a journey. I remember her early Miss SA days, you know, winning Miss South Africa, going to Miss Universe, and then winning Miss Supranational. She has had such an incredible 3 years behind her, and yeah, I'm just so proud of Lalela, to be honest with you. And obviously, having met her in person, she's so stunning. She definitely deserved everything that came to her. So the 4th runner-up ended up being Vietnam, which I was not surprised by. The UK got 3rd runner-up. Brazil was the 2nd runner-up, which meant that the final 2 was Ecuador and the Philippines. Now, at this point, having heard both of their answers in the Q&A, I was surprised for Ecuador to be in the final 2, to be honest with you, just because of her answer. I don't know, it's just, I thought for some reason that the winner was just going to be chosen from the answer, which I don't know, maybe that's not the case. The Philippines, in my opinion, had the best answer, so I was fully expecting for them to call the Philippines, Pauline, as the winner, as the new Miss Supranational. But, alas, we all know that at the end of the day, Pauline was the 1st runner-up and Ecuador ended up winning. But I will not lie when I tell you that I really felt for Pauline in this moment, because you can just tell that she was just standing there, you know, in the final 2. She wanted this. You could just see it on her face. She wanted this so much. And I'm not saying that Ecuador didn't want or deserve this, because like I said before, Ecuador really performed. She performed. But when it came to the final Q&A, which I thought the winner was going to be based on, I don't think anyone can deny the fact that the Philippines performed better than Ecuador did. At the end of the day, guys, we have a new Miss Supranational 2023, Ecuador, and she will be going on the, on the wall soon. Oh, I'm gonna have to take down Lalela. I don't think I'm ready not to have any of my birth or home countries on the wall. South Africa and Namibia need to step up ASAP and get another international crown. Please and thank you. So we will be putting Ecuador up soon. Let me know what you guys think about this. Think about Andrea Aguilera's win at Miss Supranational 2023. She was also the 1st runner-up at Miss Grand once upon a time. I love you guys so much, and I'm so glad to be back. Yeah, because I've been gone, right? Some of you have noticed and called me out for this on Instagram, and thank you so much, because that is exactly the kick in the butt that I needed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.